Hi, I'm Lee, and this is NASA Now, unraveling the mystery behind Mercury, what the Messenger mission hopes to uncover about the smallest, densest, and least explored planet in the entire solar system. And while it may be the planet closest to the sun, where temperatures can reach 800 degrees Fahrenheit, yep, scientists say there might be water ice on the planet. How can that be? That's ahead, but first let's find out what else is happening at NASA Now. The Messenger spacecraft has traveled 4.9 billion miles from launch in summer of 2004 to arrive at the main event, orbit around Mercury, which is scheduled to take place on March 17th. Now, to orbit Mercury, Messenger will point its largest thruster very close to the direction of travel and fire that thruster for nearly 14 minutes. Its average speed will be 84,500 miles per hour, or 135,985 kilometers an hour. To enter into orbit, Messenger will consume 31% of the propellant that the spacecraft carried at launch. The Solar Dynamics Observatory celebrates its one-year anniversary in space. SDO has sent back millions of stunning images of the sun and a host of new data, helping us to understand the star at the center of the solar system. Now let's take a look at the past.
November 3rd, 1973, the spacecraft Mariner 10 set out to see what it could learn about Mercury. It conducted 3 flybys of the closest planet to the Sun. Next to Messenger, it's been the only other mission to study Mercury.
The Messenger mission has been traveling for the last 6.5 years to enter into orbit around Mercury. Here to tell us more about Messenger's major milestone is senior scientist at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center, Larry Evans.
My name is Larry Evans. I'm a senior scientist here at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center. I'm working on the Messenger mission. The Messenger mission is a mission to the planet Mercury. The planet Mercury is the closest to the Sun, and it was named after the Roman god that was the speedy messenger. The Messenger name is also an acronym for Mercury surface, space environment, geochemistry, and ranging. Messenger has 7 sets of science instruments to investigate Mercury, and these instruments will all be used to answer various scientific questions. Messenger was launched in August of 2004, and it's been going on its way to Mercury ever since. On March 17th, Messenger will fire its main engines for 14 minutes, and if everything goes right, it will go into orbit around Mercury. Messenger has a sunshade, which is a 6-foot by 8-foot ceramic cloth type material. On one side of that material, it'll be 300 to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and the other side it'll be room temperature. That shield is always between the spacecraft and the sun. There was a mission called Mariner 10, which was launched in 1973, arrived at Mercury in 1974. The flybys were much like a one orbit in the polar orbit, in that we went by it very quickly and only had 20 or 30 minutes close to the planet. During the orbital phase, we'll be doing that twice a day for 1 Earth year, or approximately 720 times. So we'll be getting equivalent of 700 times as much data as we got in one flyby. It seems like water ice could not possibly exist on Mercury because Mercury is so close to the Sun and it's so hot. The hot side of Mercury can get up to 800 degrees Fahrenheit, but the polar regions, because those regions never see the Sun, can be as cold as -300 degrees Fahrenheit. And so if water is deposited in the polar regions, they might exist for hundreds of millions, even billions of years. Mercury is the least studied of all the planets in the solar system, and certainly the least studied of the 4 terrestrial planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Mercury has some similarities. It has a magnetic field, which Venus and Mars do not, but it doesn't have an atmosphere, which Venus and Mars do have. So there are similarities and there are differences, and we can try and understand the terrestrial planets better by studying all 4 of them and trying to ultimately understand better about the Earth.
Did you know Mercury speeds around the Sun every 88 days? It has the shortest year, traveling at nearly 50 kilometers per second. That's faster than any other planet. Now you know.
Hey, now it's time to check out what's up.
Want to get a glimpse of Mercury? Right around evening in our March sky, look at bright Jupiter with binoculars. If you can see a star-like object to Jupiter's right, that's Mercury.
Today we've learned about Messenger and all of its built-in scientific instruments. Now it's your turn to build your own Messenger.
Build your own scale model of Messenger, or challenge yourself even more by building the advanced scale model. Check out the links on the NASA Explorer Schools website. Be sure to take a photo and submit it as an attachment to nasa-explorer-schools@mail.nasa.gov.
Well, that's it for NASA Now. Join us next week when we learn the reason for our seasons. We'll see you then on NASA Now.
NASA Now comes to you from the virtual campus at NASA Explorer Schools.